I'm writing this because everyone in my real life has an opinion, and none of them are neutral. Maybe strangers on the internet will be kinder, or at least honest. I'm 34M. My wife, Hannah, is 32F. We've been married for 5 years, together for 8. No kids yet, though that's been a topic of tension. This will matter later. My mother, Elaine, is 61, widowed, organized, polite in the way that feels rehearsed. If you asked anyone who knows her, they'd say she's generous. She brings food, she remembers birthdays, she never raises her voice. What they wouldn't say is that she knows exactly how to make you feel small without ever sounding cruel. When my dad died 6 years ago, my mom collapsed inward. I became her anchor. I didn't notice it happening. One phone call at a time, one favor at a time, one "I just don't know what I'd do without you" layered gently onto my spine. Then I met Hannah. Hannah is warm, direct, the kind of person who says what she means and expects others to do the same. She came from a loud family, full of arguments and laughter, and doors swammed without lasting damage. At first, she adored my mom. "She's so composed," Hannah said once. "I feel like I should sit up straighter around her." I laughed. After we got married, small things started surfacing. My mom would stop by unannounced. Not often, just enough. She'd rearrange things subtly. A mug moved, a cushion replaced. "She's just helping," I said. Hannah nodded, but her smile thinned. Then came the comments. "You look tired lately," my mom would say to Hannah. "Marriage can be so demanding for women." Or, "Have you thought about cooking more traditional meals? Men need hearty food." Hannah would vent to me afterward. "She makes me feel like I'm failing an exam I didn't know I signed up for." I promised to talk to my mom. I didn't. I told myself it wasn't that bad, that Hannah was sensitive, that my mom didn't mean anything by it. The first real crack happened when Hannah and I decided to move. We found a house 20 minutes away, perfect distance, close but ours. My mom cried, actual tears. "I thought you wanted to be nearby," she said. "What if something happens to me?" I told Hannah we should reconsider. She stared at me like I'd spoken another language. "So we're making life decisions based on hypothetical emergencies?" We moved anyway. My mom never visited the new house without commenting on the drive. Then Hannah got pregnant. It was unplanned. We were shocked, terrified, excited in a quiet, stunned way. My mom found out before we'd even told friends. I'd mentioned it casually on the phone, forgetting how information blooms in her hands. She started calling daily, giving advice, sending articles, asking what Hannah was eating. One afternoon, I came home to find Hannah crying in the bathroom. "She called me selfish," Hannah whispered, "because I said I don't want her in the delivery room." I confronted my mom. She sounded wounded. "I was just expressing how hurt I felt. You told my pregnant wife she was selfish." "I said I was disappointed," she corrected calmly. I apologized to her, not to Hannah. The pregnancy ended at 10 weeks. No dramatic emergency, just a quiet appointment and a room that felt too big afterward. Hannah retreated into herself. I didn't know how to help. I focused on logistics, on work, on being strong. My mom sent flowers. The card said, "Everything happens for a reason." Hannah didn't say a word. She threw the card away. After that, something hardened. Hannah stopped attending family dinners, stopped answering my mom's texts. She asked me to set boundaries. I said I would. I didn't. Then my mom fell. Nothing major, a fractured wrist, but suddenly she couldn't be alone. She needed help with groceries, appointments, meals. I started spending nights there. Hannah tried to be understanding. Then she stopped trying. "You live 2 lives," she said one night, "and I'm not in the one that matters." I snapped back. "She's my mother." She nodded. "And I'm your wife." The night everything exploded, my mom came over unexpectedly.
Hannah was in the kitchen. The sink was full. She hadn't been sleeping. My mom looked around and said, "The house feels neglected." That was it. Hannah turned to me. "Say something." I froze. My mom looked offended. I was only observing. Hannah laughed. Not humor. Release. "Get out," she said. My mom looked at me. I didn't move. She left in silence. That night, Hannah told me she wanted a trial separation. I feel like I'm competing with a ghost and losing. I told her she was being unfair. She told me she was done begging. She moved out a week later. Living alone felt wrong, empty. My mom filled the space quickly. Dinners, laundry, concern. "She never appreciated how devoted you are," she said once. Something in my chest twisted. Then Hannah called. She said she'd found a therapist, that she was starting to understand how lonely she'd been. She asked if I was willing to do couples counseling. I said yes. The therapist used words I didn't like. Enmeshment, emotional dependency, unconscious loyalty. I defended my mom reflexively. She sacrificed everything for me. The therapist nodded. That doesn't mean you owe her your marriage. The session ended with homework. Boundaries. I went to my mom's house and told her I wouldn't be staying overnight anymore. She stared at me. "So she's turned you against me?" "No," I said. "I'm choosing my marriage." Her face closed. A week later, she called crying, said her neighbor had scared her, that she didn't feel safe. I went over. Hannah found out. She didn't yell. That was worse. She texted, "I see your choice." I realized then that the ultimatum Hannah gave me months ago wasn't a threat. It was a countdown. I asked my mom to attend a session with me. She refused, said therapists poison families. Hannah gave me one final conversation. "I don't want to hate you," she said, "but I can't keep shrinking." I told her I needed time. She signed the divorce papers 2 weeks later. It's been a year. Hannah is doing well from what I hear. She moved cities. She looks lighter in photos. I still see my mom weekly. Sometimes I catch her watching me with something like relief, like she won. But the house is quiet. I think about the child we never had, the life we almost built. I didn't choose my mother over my wife. I chose comfort over courage. And by the time I understood the difference, the decision had already been made for me. If you're reading this and standing at a crossroads, don't wait for someone else to force your hand, because loss doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it leaves quietly, carrying the life you thought you'd have. For a long time after the divorce, I told myself the story ended the way it did because I was weak, because I waited too long, because courage arrived late and left early. I believed that until something small happened, something I almost missed. It was a Tuesday, ordinary. I was at my mom's house fixing a light bulb in the hallway, the kind of task she always saved for me, even though she could have called an electrician. "Careful," she said from the kitchen, "that ladder is old." I told her I was fine. When I stepped down, she handed me a glass of water, the way she always did. 2 ice cubes, lemon slice. Exactly how I like it. "You must be tired," she said. "You've been doing so much lately." I nodded. She hesitated, then said casually, "Hannah never really understood how sensitive you are." The sentence was light, almost affectionate. Something about it made my chest tighten. Later that night at home, I couldn't sleep. I replayed the sentence, not angrily, curiously. Sensitive. I thought back to how my mom had always described me to others. Fragile when I was young, thoughtful when I was indecisive, overwhelmed when I pulled away. I remembered something Hannah said years ago during one of our last fights. "She talks about you like you're made of glass, and you believe her." At the time, I brushed it off. That night, I didn't. I opened an old email thread between my mom and me. Years of messages. I'd never read them all at once before. I noticed patterns. Whenever Hannah and I argued, my mom knew within days, sometimes hours. Whenever Hannah pulled back, my mom stepped forward. Whenever Hannah asked for boundaries, my mom had a crisis. Then I found an email from 3 years ago, sent late at night. I'd forgotten it completely. My mom had written, "I worry that Hannah pushes you too hard. You've always struggled with pressure. I just want you to be safe." Safe. I searched my inbox. I searched my texts. I searched my memory. And that's when the realization finally landed, slow and unmistakable. I hadn't just failed to protect my marriage. I had been protected from it. Every time Hannah asked me to grow, my mom framed it as danger. Every time Hannah challenged me, my mom softened the ground so I could retreat. Every time Hannah stood her ground, my mom offered me refuge. Not because she hated Hannah, because she needed me to stay unchanged.
The fights Hannah and I had weren't reported accidentally. They were translated, filtered, softened for me, sharpened for my mother. I thought I'd been torn between two women who needed me. I wasn't. One woman needed me to stay small. The other needed me to stand up. And I chose the place where I didn't have to change. The final twist didn't come with a confrontation. It came quietly, months later, when my mom mentioned she'd run into Hannah's sister at the grocery store. "She said Hannah's doing well," my mom said. "I told her I was relieved." I waited. "She said Hannah finally feels like herself again," my mom added. Then, almost absent-mindedly, she said, "Some people just aren't meant for marriage." That's when I understood something that made my stomach drop. My mother never wanted me alone. She wanted me subservient. Hannah wasn't the threat. Growth was, because my growth meant she would lose her power over me, and she didn't like that. I didn't lose my marriage because I couldn't choose. I lost it because I chose the place where I never had to become more than I already was. And now, when my house goes quiet at night, I don't hear loneliness first. I hear something worse, potential, and the sound of a life that would have required courage, waiting patiently for a version of me that never arrived. I didn't choose my mother over my wife. I chose the life I thought was safe, and lost the one I could have loved.